Hi, this is Chef Steve. I thought it might be interesting for you to see what the menu we're doing this week looks like from a former class. We start with clams casino on a bed of salt. This is a classic New England recipe which can be served as an appetizer. It can also be served as a first course or a large meal. It's fairly light. If you're looking at this picture, you'll notice maybe two things that are wrong in this shot. Notice the lemon crown with the very glaring lemon seeds or pips that are showing. Also notice the dice on the green pepper and the red pepper, which is quite large. In fact, it's larger than the clam itself. There's another one, probably a little bit too many breadcrumbs in this. Again, we have seeds. What do you think about this? Why do you think we put the clams on a bed of salt? If you've answered to season the clams, you're probably not correct. It's to stabilize the clams, to keep them from tipping over. Here's another shot. Again, using odd numbers, as we've talked about in presentation. They're serving 5 clams rather than 4 or 6. So do either 3, 5, or 7 clams. Presentation. This looks very good. Again, the dice, however, is just a bit large on the red and green pepper. The other thing you need to consider on this dish is that you need to make sure that you pull the clam from the shell, so it makes for easier eating, because there's a little bit of a ligament or a little tendon that holds the clam in its shell. And if you don't remove that, you're going to have a problem. As our second course, we're doing cod cakes with tartar sauce. Most important thing to remember about this dish is that you need to make sure that the cod cakes are fairly thin in thickness, and you want them to be uniform in size. You don't want to oversauce them. Here they've served the sauce underneath. Some students don't finish their turkey roulade, and so they end up having to do the cod cake as more or less an entree for a luncheon course. This picture shows probably too much tartar sauce. If you think about putting too much sauce on a dish that you've very carefully fried to get a nice crispy crust, if you put too much sauce, you're going to end up softening that nice crust that you worked so hard to develop. This is the sort of the meeting of the rivers. Unfortunately, the glaze on the turnips is running into the tartar sauce, probably a little bit too brown on them. This is not a particularly appealing dish. The issue here in presentation is the serving of the tartar sauce in a ramekin. The ramekin, you have no idea where the bottom or the base of that ramekin has been. So it's always an issue to serve a ramekin where you're serving that sauce with the food. It would be better to serve the sauce beneath or on the side, or on the side of the dish, not in a dish. Exceptions to this might be when you do buffalo wings or something a little bit more casual, but this dish, I don't think it's too formal to serve it in this manner. This group, they did not finish their roulade, so they've made their cod cakes more or less their entree that they're serving with the glazed carrots, the green beans with the fried onions and mushrooms. This is the entire menu. As you see, it's quite large. Turkey roulade, which is a savory roulade with green beans, maple glazed sweet potatoes, the whipped sweet potatoes, cranberry sauce, with gravy. Another shot. I like the presentation. It's a lot of things on the plate, but it looks good. It's lacking green beans, and the giblet gravy is missing. It needs the sauce. And it looks like they didn't finish most of their items. Notice the cranberry sauce is sort of leaching into the roulade. And then for dessert, we do a spicy gingerbread with vanilla-scented whipped cream. Nice presentation here, served on a fall maple leaf. It's got a little bit of color, a little bit of nutmeg. You got to be careful with nutmeg or cinnamon that you don't overdo it. Maybe just a tad less on the nutmeg. This probably was cinnamon and nutmeg, but just be careful. And I think they tried to cut individual pieces of gingerbread. I think they burned the edges, and so they tried to salvage it. It didn't remove from the pan very well. You want to make sure that you Pam the bottom, or use some vegetable nonstick, and then some parchment round, and then spray again to make sure that the cake will remove. And there we have it. It's a large menu. You have to make sure that you're organized and be prepared to work very hard.